Hi, it's Dr. Nicola Bird, and you are watching Out on the Limb, your one-stop for leading a happy, healthy, and successful life. Have you ever experienced the connection between your mind and your body, like feeling butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous? Today's guests are Dr. Kevin Morrison, the founder of the Awakenings Technique, and his partner, Vonda Smith, who are experts on how the body holds emotional pain that causes us to be sick. They are here to help us understand what we can do to create wellness for ourselves. Hi, Dr. Kevin and Vonda. Wonderful to have you here.
Nice to be here.
It's great to be here.
So tell me, why is it that people struggle with depression, anxiety, and physical pain that are just so prevalent in our society today?
I would say the biggest reason that people struggle is because of their thoughts.
Okay.
Because basically we have 60,000 thoughts per day, and unfortunately most of our thoughts are negative. They're not positive, and our thoughts lead to how we feel, to the emotions that we feel. And it's our emotions that get expressed in our body, and not always in a good way.
Okay.
So it's basically thoughts, right?
Yeah, our thoughts, which creates a feeling, which creates our beliefs about ourselves. So if you were as a child and were, struggling with, say, learning math, and somebody kind of gave you the idea that you were stupid, then you feel stupid, and then you have other things show up in your life that confirms that.
Right.
So then that thought again is, oh, I'm stupid, and then you feel stupid, and then it becomes a belief that you are stupid. So it's just perpetual thinking and feeling that create a belief, and belief again is just a thought you keep thinking. So we can change that.
So when you have these thoughts and beliefs that are damaging, how does that translate into a physical problem?
Well, the way it really works is that how you think creates a feeling, and that feeling, if you want to get technical, it gets converted in the body. The body produces hormones and chemicals. It produces neuropeptides. They're basically proteins. Those proteins move through the body and they attach to every single cell of the body. And those proteins, when they attach, it's like a key going into a lock. So it basically turns on the cell, and it regulates how the cell is going to express the DNA in the cell, express the genes in the cell. So basically, if your thoughts are positive, the cell is basically going to express positive genes, positive DNA, things that are going to make you feel healthy. If you think negatively, the cell is going to be programmed to turn on, to key on, express negative genes, like things like genes that cause arthritis, cause cancer, cause illness. So basically, how you think, it creates how you feel.
So what you're really saying is that even though we can't really see them, they are really having an incredible, powerful impact on our physical body. So they are much more tangible and real than we can understand or see.
Like electricity, right?
Right.
Yeah, when you got an outlet on the wall, you never think of it until you need to plug something in, and then you just push it into the wall, and boom, you've got electricity. So it's the same connection.
So what do you usually find as the negative and limiting beliefs and thoughts and emotions that really sabotage and get in the way of people being healthy, happy, well?
I'd have to say the two major ones are fear and anger.
Okay.
Because fear and anger, it's well known that they produce something like 1,400 chemical and physical reactions in the body. They cause the release of about 40 hormones in the body.
Wow.
And the thing with fear and anger is one of the things that they cause the production of is adrenaline. And adrenaline is that hormone that we have for fight or flight. So if you have fear or anger in the short term, it's okay. But if you get fear and anger over long term, let's say you've got a lot of anger because of your job, you've got a lot of anger because of a relationship, and it's going on and on, it becomes chronic, what happens is that adrenaline, some of the things it does is it causes your heart rate to increase, causes your blood pressure to increase. So over the long term, you start to get cardiovascular disease. It also causes things like increased sugars in the blood, which can lead to diabetes, increased cholesterol, increased triglycerides.
So what you're describing is patterns of thinking and emotions. It's really the patterns that are the problem when they are repeated and consistent and become part of our life and functioning.
Yeah, it's
way
like
of functioning.
when you think a thought, like when you think about fear or think about anger over and over and over, that it becomes a belief system.
Right.
Then basically the belief system now helps to reinforce that emotion. So you're all of a sudden feeling fearful all the time. You're feeling angry all the time, and that stress response, which was helping you in the short term, is actually hurting the body on the long term.
So what in your life have you overcome or faced as a challenge yourself?
Many challenges. When I was a little boy, my mother was a severe alcoholic, and she was also mentally unstable. She went into a place called Homewood about 3 times. I saw her put into a straitjacket. I saw her at some horrible things, but I had to overcome what she made me feel because of the alcoholism. She used to say a lot of things like, "You don't matter. I wish you were dead." Things that were very, very painful to me, and so I grew up feeling like I didn't matter, like I didn't have self-worth. I went through, when I was older, my oldest brother, he dove in a swimming pool and he broke his neck. So I went through the drama and traumas of seeing my brother at Lyndhurst Hospital here in Toronto wearing a halo brace where he couldn't even scratch his nose. And I'd say, I was like 14, I said, "Well, scratch your own nose." And he'd say, I can't scratch my nose. So the pain that I had to overcome and helping him to recuperate.
How did you overcome these challenges?
I think the biggest thing I did is about attitude. Basically I've always had an attitude of gratitude. One of my chiropractors that I listened to a lot when I was going through school was Dr. John DeMartini. He was part of The Secret, and he always said, have an attitude of gratitude, and what you think about and think about, you bring about. So basically, when I was in my darkest days, I kept focusing on what I want. I kept focusing on how my life is going to be, not how it was. Every day before I get out of bed, before my feet hit the floor, I focus on what emotions I want to feel for that day. I want to focus on that. I'm not going to put my feet on the floor until I decide I'm going to be happy. I'm going to find the best things in this day. And the other things I did is I love to run. Running is great. It releases endorphins, that natural endorphin high that runners get. So I run a lot. I do things like cooking because I love to cook. And I treat myself. I go, you deserve to go for dinner. So I always did things that made myself feel amazing.
And what transformation did that create for you?
It helped me to learn how to find happiness and to create happiness in my life. And it was kind of the stepping stone which kind of tweaked me, and I think Vonda too, to create the Awakenings technique, because I thought if I can do this for myself, being a chiropractor for 23 years and all the patients I've seen, there's a lot of unhappy people out there, a lot of people in a lot of pain that I can help them with, and simply adjusting them isn't going to take away that emotional pain. We had to find something unique to do, so we worked and we created an emotional healing technique which now is surpassing my chiropractic technique and how busy it is.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's an amazing contribution, and it's amazing that you were able to take your trials and create triumph, which is very impressive and really inspiring for everyone.
Thank you.
So, Vonda, tell me, in terms of your technique, what can you give our viewers as a takeaway for them to work within their own life to create benefit from what you're doing and helping others?
Okay, well, what we do with our clients is when we go through the process of the technique, we connect to a negative emotion, say like fear, and we want to replace that with a positive emotion like, say, courage. And so we'll actually create an intention statement for that particular emotion. And so anytime that they feel that energy of fear come over them, they start replacing that thought with their affirmational statement.
So an example of an affirmational statement that the viewer who's experiencing fear could use for themselves. And I know this is very general, but just something.
Well, you want to start it as I am.
Okay.
Always say it as I am, so that is in the now. And so I am courageous could even be, one affirmational statement for that. Something very short and sweet that you can just punch in anytime you feel that anxiety of fear come over you. And then the other thing we like to do is to get them to journal about things that they're appreciative of. and also to write out a new script for their life, so, you know, almost like a daydream, and write it out as if it's already happening, and that will create feelings in your body that it's already happening, and then experiences will just start showing up in your life.
So is that something that we do every day? Is that part of our lifestyle that we try to incorporate in practice as a routine and a habit?
Absolutely, because we want to do that every single day so that it becomes a new habit.
It's just like reprogramming our mind and our body at the same time.
Yes.
The one thing that we do is every night before we go to bed, I wouldn't call it a prayer, but what we do is we have our gratitude time.
Right.
So we're lying there in bed before we go to sleep. We ask each other, what are you grateful for today? Because you always have to have an attitude of gratitude, and even if you're grateful that you got food in your belly that day. And so Vonda will say what she's grateful for, and then I say what I'm grateful for, and that's what you think about before you go to sleep. The last thing you think about, so you always go to sleep with positive thoughts, and so the first thing you do when you wake up is you focus on those positive thoughts before you let your feet hit the floor.
I love, because what you just offered is not just only a personal technique, but what couples can do to really improve their relationship.
And you get to know about each other, because the person gets to tell you a little bit more about what's going on in their thought process, and you start to realize how much that person really feels for you. Right. And it's a very loving process. It brings two people really together.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I thank you so much for being here. You've offered so much for people to grow and understand and learn and create wellness for themselves, and it's just amazing what you guys are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'm off to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss my soundbite for success. Feeling stressed? Busy? Worrying too much? I have a simple technique to reduce stress and increase relaxation that costs you absolutely nothing. And you can do it anywhere and anytime, and it's already something that is part of your daily life. Breathing. We've all heard how important it is to breathe deeply, but most of us don't know exactly how it's done or put it into practice in our lives. So let's start simple. Let's learn belly breathing. Place your right hand on your abdomen below your belly button and your left hand on your chest. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose into your lungs. Focus your attention on where your right hand rests below your belly button. Your chest should not move while your stomach expands like a balloon, pushing your right hand upward. Your left hand on your chest should not rise. If it does, imagine that your left hand is keeping your chest still. Count to 5 as you do this. As you exhale from your nose, let the air out of your belly so that it deflates for the count of 6. Your breathing, inhaling and exhaling, should be one slow, long, and continual inhalation and exhalation through your nose. Focus on the feelings of relaxation that goes along with this exercise, which is the most important thing to do. Concentrate on your feelings. I now invite you to be your very own best friend, and for the next week, take a minute or two to practice this simple exercise. You build positives in your life by routinely practicing habits to empower yourself. Remember, you're all you need to succeed. And if you want more insights on how you can lead the happy, healthy, and successful life that you deserve, sign up for my email updates. And don't forget to spread the joy and share this with your friends. As always, be good to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you right here again next week on Out on the Limb.